It's time for another Ask Scanner School session where I answer your Scanner Radio questions. Welcome back to Scanner School. If you are new here, if you've never seen one of these videos, it is the first Tuesday of the month, which means I am answering Scanner Radio questions that are submitted to me via our voicemail number at 516-308-2885 or via our website at scannerschool.com/ask. And also, you can email me, and the information is down below in the description of this podcast. Now, again, if you use our voicemail number, 516-308-2885, or our SpeakPipe link, again, over our Ask page, will put you in the running for a free tutoring session. So let's get on to the two questions that I'm answering this month.
This is James Lee calling. Just wanted to know about questions about the 325 scanner by Uniden. Utilizing close call is a bit tricky. Is it correct that we have to not really press down hard on those buttons when we're manually utilizing the scanner on close call mode? Phil, hope you have a happy new year and good health for 2024. Your podcast 317 on 13 necessary frequencies and the 14th frequency was excellent. Chinese New Year's is coming up February 10th in 2 weeks. It's the year of the dragon. Happy New Year. Clean up everything in the house. Good health to you all. The best of 2024. I hope this voicemail gets to you. You're doing great work. And again, please, sir, stay healthy, Mr. Phil. That's the main thing. I'm going to try to send you an email via WinLink. Not sure if it'll get to you, but we'll try it on a different system here using the Telnet system. Talk to you later. Happy New Year. Gong Hei Fa Choi. Good luck.
Hey, James, thank you so much for asking me your question. Now, close call, is a little bit of a challenge. Sometimes we have to make sure we have it set up correctly. But as far as pushing the actual physical button on any scanner radio, it's the same amount of pressure applied to it as we would any other key on the keyboards. The close call feature on the scanner shares the same button as the hold feature of the scanner. If you press that same button, you'll either have a hold or you'll be in close call mode. And the way to toggle between the two is by using the function button first. So again, a straight push on the hold button will hold the channel or talk group that you are currently scanning. And if you don't need any additional pressure to push down the hold button, I don't think there's really a problem with your keypad. So just make sure what you were doing is you were pressing the function button, or F, and then while you see F in the display, make sure you are pressing, again, the hold button so that you are now using the secondary function, which is close call. And again, close call will cycle through different modes. You'll either have close call do not disturb, close call priority, and then straight up close call. And of course, with close call also, you need to make sure you have the certain bands turned off or on. Like, do you want VHF low, VHF, UHF, even 700, 800, TV band, whatnot. And again, by turning these off and on, that means you are either accepting or ignoring those frequencies during the close call feature. Now, close call really only works well when you are obviously very close to a particular transmitter or station that is transmitting. And what we want to remember on our scanner is that we have to first have close call turned on. We need to have the right mode turned on. But most importantly, we need to make sure that we hit the function button before we hit the hold button so that we can then toggle close call off or on. Another way of toggling close call is by using the menu system. And you can go right into menu and you can go into close call or search mode and then toggle the different close call features from right in there. So like I was saying before, if you have to really push in on the keypad in order to toggle the close call or to toggle the hold, then you probably have something wrong with the keypad on your scanner. Now, Uniden has a really great warranty program. You can go to their website at uniden.com if you're right here in North America, and you fill out their flat rate warranty repair form. And I believe, I haven't had to actually go through this process myself. It's about $75 US in order to have your scanner radio repaired. And again, I believe it's a flat rate. So again, that's an option if you really have to send that key to the back of the radio in order to get it to toggle. I would like to know more about how this is working for you or where exactly you're having an issue with close call. Again, if it's a keypad button issue, you might be able to access it again through the menu system on the scanner. This way you might, save yourself $75. But again, if the hold button works fine, make sure you're hitting function first and then hold so that you're actually toggling the close call off and on. And again, as long as the F is in that window, you can keep pressing the hold to toggle through the close call modes. And as far as the WinLink message goes, I haven't received one from you, but I'm also not active anymore on WinLink, and I haven't been for quite some time. So if there is a message waiting for me on WinLink, I will have to figure out a way to retrieve it without actually getting myself back on the air. Let me know what email address you sent it to, and I will try to hunt it down. And finally, again, thank you very much. Happy New Year to you as well. Again, we are all striving for a very healthy and, cancer-free 2024, but things are really not going my way right now. So yeah, we're at stage 4 for 2024, and I do have radiation coming up. So I'm hoping that you have better health and better luck in 2024 than I'm having. And again, happy Chinese New Year to you too. And again, I hope it is a safe and enjoyable Happy New Year. Jim, thank you so much for asking me your questions and submitting them via our SpeakPipe link. It was good to actually have you on the podcast and with your own voice asking me your questions. Thanks again for being a listener. And again, I look forward to hearing from you again soon. Jim, again, Happy New Year. Thanks again, and 73. Before we get on to our second question for this month, I just want to take 1 second here to thank my Patreon supporters. It's our Patreon supporters that allowed me to take this podcast and take it from an audio-only podcast that's available on iTunes and Google Podcasts and all the other platforms that are available to you and take them over right here to YouTube. And of course, there's benefits too to being a Patreon supporter. Not only do you get the podcast episode earlier, but there's other additional benefits that come with certain set tiers. You may even get some Scanner School swag. Yes, there's plenty of merchandise available for you to purchase separately or through our Patreon portal that's only available to our Patreon members. If you'd like to help support the podcast, please go to scannerschool.com/Patreon. All right, Garrett has our second question for this month. Garrett, take it away.
Hi, Phil. It's Garrett coming to you with a question about Broadcastify. I'm a Broadcastify feed provider, and I use a Windows 10 machine with a USB audio card and a Bearcat BC80 XLT to provide the audio in real time to Broadcastify. I'd like to find a software-based solution that would plug into my SDR and provide that audio to Broadcastify. I know a lot of people use Raspberry Pis, but I already have this solution pretty much set up, and I'd love to stick to as much of the existing hardware that I have as I can. Do you have any recommendations on providing a scanning tool for just 8 to 9 conventional frequencies to then provide that audio to Broadcastify in real time? I tried SDR trunk, but I don't think it's really designed for that, and I think I'd have to have an RTL for every conventional frequency I want to scan so that it would tune to just that. If you have a solution around this, I'd love your help. Thanks as always for a great podcast.
Hey, Garrett, great to hear from you again. And again, thank you for being a listener and supporter of the podcast and also for being a guest on the podcast several times over. I always enjoy talking with you, and it's always great to have you on the podcast. So again, anytime you want to come back, please let me know. So to answer your question about using SDRs to stream to Broadcastify, it's definitely a different animal than it is by taking a scanner, in your case, a BC80 XLT, and I haven't seen one of those in a long time, by the way, and plugging them into your Windows 10 computer by using a USB sound card. And again, it's a great way to supply a live feed to Radio Reference. However, it's a little bit of an expensive way of supplying a feed, especially when you think about the month-to-month costs of running a computer 24/7. Now, I'm just going to tell you this. I've had my entire office shut down now since July, and I am on a balanced budget with my local power company. And my bill has been cut in half by turning off my computer that was running 24/7 and my power supplies and my radio. Yeah, half. I'm saying like $100. It's insane how much money it's actually costing us to run a computer 24/7 just to run a couple of live feeds. And you're right, a Raspberry Pi and an SDR is a little bit challenging. But when you mix the right hardware with the right software, it can really be energy efficient and a lot easier to maintain once everything is up and running, by the way. And it takes up a lot smaller footprint. And not only that, but you're not generating heat, you're not running the fans, and it's not a power-hungry device. Now, like you said, you can try different types of software like SDR Trunk. And again, SDR Trunk is great at what it does. Yes, it monitors trunk systems using software-defined radios. And of course, I'm a big fan of the RTL blog and also the Newelec sticks. And again, we'll put links to both of those to Amazon, which will take you over to those pages. And again, that's an affiliate link. And again, that's down below in the podcast description. Now, those are great USB sticks. They have, I think it's 2.4 megabits per second, or basically megahertz of a bandwidth that you can receive. So if you want to receive a bunch of different frequencies, SDR Trunk is not only an overkill for FM conventional, but yeah, it's going to be hard to run on an older generation of Raspberry Pi, say Raspberry Pi 3, 3B, 4. And I just bought a Raspberry Pi 5 because I want to see if some of these more advanced SDR applications can run on them and how much we can do with it. For example, SDR Trunk with Trunk Recorder, or even running SDR Plays software, the new version of SDR Uno, which I, again, can't remember off the top of my head exactly what that is. But again, there's a lot of applications that are now being ported over the Raspberry Pi, but I think you might need a 4B or higher to run some of these. But like we said, there's multiple different ways to skin a cat here. And using a Raspberry Pi and a USB stick, yes, it is possible to scan a couple of frequencies as you would a conventional scanner. Now again, SDR Trunk, bloated when it would come to this, but you can do it. What I would recommend is going the simple route. Now, SDR++, I believe, runs on a Raspberry Pi. And again, that application was just rebuilt from the ground up. Great piece of software. We actually had the author on the podcast a couple episodes ago, maybe about a year or two ago. And again, really interesting to talk about the back end and how things work and what he was building and going through. Really smart guy. I mean, I would say really smart kid. He's still in college, but he's building an application that it's great to see this. And not only does it run on Windows, but it runs on Mac and it runs on Linux. And again, I believe it runs on a Raspberry Pi. But there is a piece of software out there that looks very, very promising that I have not played with yet. And I really want to do it. And this is really where I think this will shine. And it's called, wait for it, RTL Airband. Yes, you've heard that right. RTL Airband. And it's not just for aviation monitoring, but that's what it was built for. It was built to scan through multiple aviation frequencies and monitor an AM, but as many applications mature, feature requests come in. And this was the perfect type of application to run as a simple scanner radio. So not only does it support AM, but it now also supports narrowband FM. And will RTL Airband work on a Raspberry Pi? You betcha. And there's instructions on their wiki page on how to configure it to run on your Pi. But it gets even better than that. You want to know how to send the audio from your RTL stick that's being controlled by RTL Airband to Broadcastify? Guess what? There's a wiki page on Radio Reference that breaks down exactly how to configure your instance of RTL Airband and how to configure all the audio settings so that you can send your audio to Broadcastify. Yes, the information is already there. And this is a great topic for a YouTube video. So I am taking this and your question and I am putting it into my to-do list, my list of videos that I want to create. I'm going to put together a video on how to set up a Raspberry Pi with an RTL stick with RTL Airband and send the audio out to Broadcastify. I don't know when it's coming. So make sure you hit subscribe and hit the bell icon so you are notified when we release another YouTube video. And possibly, not possibly, when we release our tutorial on how to set up your Raspberry Pi with a stick, with RTL Airband to stream it out on the internet. This is going to make for an awesome project, whether it be a rainy day, a snowy day, or just a Saturday morning. I can't wait to get started on this one. And this is what makes the hobby so interesting. All the different ways that we can take a radio and scan with it. And again, I said it here before, I'm going to say it again right now, so I'm on record on YouTube, that I believe that RTL sticks are going to catapult the scanner radio hobby. And if you haven't yet dipped your toe in the water to learn how to use a software-defined radio, there is no time like the present to learn how to do so. And I have a free course that'll show you how to set up an RTL stick on your Windows computer in a weekend. And when I say a weekend, I mean just an hour or two on a Saturday. Yeah, really simple, just to get you started, just to get you receiving, just to get you set up, and give you a little sample of a couple of pieces of software. And from there, you can take it to our additional courses in our platform. If you're interested in that, go to courses.scannerschool.com, or again, link in the description of this podcast episode. So with that, we have answered 2 more questions that were submitted by our viewers and our listeners right here on the podcast. And again, if you want your question answered on an upcoming podcast episode, please pick up your phone, dial 516-308-2885. And if you don't want to use your phone, or if you're outside the North America region, you can go to scannerschool.com/ask, click on the speak pipe link to leave me a voicemail, or use the question form right there on the same page, or you can always email me, phil@scannerschool.com. Again, we will answer questions in upcoming episodes. I can't always answer emails right away, but I do definitely read them. So before we end this week, let's see who's giving away our free tutoring session. And again, I'm feeling very generous this month. So in celebration of us coming onto YouTube and bringing this podcast platform here, hey, James, Garrett, you both want a free tutoring session this month. Make sure you reach out and contact me for your coupon code so you can get a free tutoring session. And if you want one-on-one help with your scanner radio, sitting across the screen just like this over Zoom, I'm available to do just that. Again, there's a link in the description, or you can go to scannerschool.com/tutoring to book your tutoring session. If you want more free videos just like this over here on YouTube, hey, right next to me, there's a couple of videos that you can watch right now. Thanks again. Don't forget to subscribe. 73.